Welcome to Prescribing Possibility, conversations that inspire us to heal, grow, and live with harmony. I'm your host, Dr. Dimtna Weil. Thanks for joining me for your weekly dose of thoughtful conversation and personal transformation. Let's get started. Welcome back to the Prescribing Possibility podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Dimtna Weil, and I am absolutely thrilled to welcome back one of my very first guests here on the pod. Her name is Michelle Garside, and she is a very near and dear human in my world. So Michelle, she is a brand architect, a writer, and a truth teller who is devoted to helping people uncover why they're here and then to share it with the world. She co-founded the Soul Camp Creative, the Enchantment Experience, the Connecticut Women's Club, and she has worked with thousands of visionaries, leaders, healers, and seekers to find their reason for being on this planet. And she translates it into movements, brands, businesses, books, and experiences that reach the masses. Michelle's first book, Not Awakened, The Messy Truth About Finding Yourself, dismantles the myth of this perfect spiritual awakening and invites readers to discover purpose in the places they've tried to hide. Known for her mix of edgy storytelling, soulful strategy, and ability to see the deeper message in the mess, Michelle creates platforms that spark belonging, liberation, and impact. I did want to mention Michelle is actually going to be running a workshop at the Omega Institute this coming October. It's called the Not Awakened Experience, and that's October 22nd through the 25th of 2026, and that'll be in Rhinebeck, New York at Omega. So if you are interested, check that out. I have been to workshops with Michelle. They are amazing, and you're in for a treat today. Buckle up. Hello, everybody. We are in for a treat today. We have the one, the only, the magnificent Michelle Garside with us today. Yay!
Yay! I'm so happy to be here. I love you. And I'm just so grateful to always be in conversation with you. So thank you for having me.
Grateful, it doesn't even really sum it up because you were one of my very first guests when I started the podcast. And so to have you back and your dream coming true,
Yes.
which we'll get into,
Yes.
it's just, it makes my heart happy.
Yay.
So,
yes. Dreams coming true. We'll do that. That.
Yeah. Well, if you don't dream, they don't come true, right?
It's true.
So, Michelle, tell us, you have so many amazing things going on since we last spoke. You have transitioned from Soul Camp Creative to your own, you're a brand architect.
Yes.
Now, right? How you got that right? I love that so much. And you have been taking off with your new book, which is coming out next year.
Yes.
So tell me, how has life been in the last year? Like, what's been going on in your world?
Yeah. Wow. Well, it really has been. It's been a year. We closed Soul Camp Creative officially in May, not this past May, but the May before. And so it's been like a year and a few months. And the way that I say it is, I feel like I have been let out of a cage that I didn't even know I was in because I loved the cage so much. And the cage was so beautiful and loving and fun. And yet it was a cage, because once out of it, I realized, oh my goodness, I can fly so high. And I didn't even realize I wasn't. So I had left corporate in 2011 and very quickly started an agency, right after. And the goal, and the first few years were so fun and just like so free and exciting. And then it got bigger and then it got bigger and then it got bigger and then it got bigger. And then I found myself incorporate again
Yeah.
in a lot of ways of my own making, with hours and status calls and a team to manage. And it got to the point where it was this beautiful gilded cage. And so it's been almost a year and a few months that we sunset Soul Camp Creative. And I feel like I've been flying. I feel like I am able to fully step into the fullness of who I am without any regulations or guardrails. And what that's looked like is being able to take on all different types of clients to help them build their dreams, talking about whatever I want everywhere. And so it's been amazing. It's been amazing. It's been like a wild magic carpet ride for the last, year and a half. So yeah, I am a brand architect. I work with amazing people like you to find your story and build the dream. That could be a brand, a business, a podcast, a program, a keynote, whatever that is, whatever the actual execution deliverable is in the world, that's the next step. But it always starts with, what's the message that holds all that you are and all that you do? And that really intersects, the way that I get there and the way that I do that is not, tell me all the amazing things about you. Like, let's just land in the light.
No, you don't go there.
No, I do
you
not.
Go deep and dark, Michelle.
I go deep and dark. The magic is so often in the mud and so often in the hardship and the stories that we've carried for a long, long time. So when I work with people, very often my first question is, where were you born? And when you were born, did your parents like one another? Because that is where we start. We start all the way there. And then from there, I dig into what has been the core threads that keep showing up in your life. So for me, for instance, from such an early age, the core thread that kept showing up was around fitting in and belonging. So I don't fit in, I don't belong. I don't fit with this group or this group. I don't fit with this school or this school. So this feeling constantly of something's wrong with me, I don't fit in, kept showing up, not just in childhood, but in college, in young adulthood, and again and again and again. And so now I'm so clearly able to see now, that keeps showing up, not just because that's something I need to get through, but that keeps showing up because that is my freaking message on the planet, right? That feeling of not belonging, not belonging, not belonging. Obviously, I'm supposed to live through that, learn through that, and then give that. And so that's
so on that. Oh my God. I find that there's so much in what you just said. I mean, that could be the whole podcast episode. Like, it's so rich, but I find it so interesting. Like the way you described the sunset over Soul Camp and now this beautiful sunrise into something new, right?
Yes.
But
yes.
the idea of belonging and how interesting that the woman who didn't feel like she belonged created a camp for adults. Like, talk about like, we are going to include everybody. This is going to be like the unicorn camp, and how amazing to see how that experience of yours created that one beautiful like sphere. Yeah. And now the sun has gone down and it's rising over something new where you're going to take that same message. Like, how amazing is that?
Yeah. Because that's who I am, right? Like in everything that I do, I am that sense of belonging. I want everyone to feel included. I want everyone to feel part of. So if I'm doing that in a camp, if I'm doing that around a dinner table, if I'm doing that with my children, if I'm doing that through this book, which I know we'll talk about, which is let me go first. Let me tell you my stories. Let me make sure you feel that you're not alone, that me too. I'm right there with you. Come on in, open the door, grab a seat. You belong here. Your shit and your brokenness fit with mine. Come on in, right? That sense of wanting people to feel like they belong it isn't in spite of or despite my sense of not belonging. It's because of course, that's what I'm here to do, because I came onto this earth with that sense of not belonging. And so with my clients, I really help them identify, well, what is that for you? I had a client once, she's a mortgage broker, right? Like the top mortgage broker in Delray Beach, Florida. And she's like, I had kind of a crazy childhood. Maybe there's something here that like I'm meant to like motivational speak. That's really, what she came to me with. I was like, all right, well, tell me your whole life story. And so she did. And what kept showing up was in chaos, this sense of needing to create home or find home or come back home to herself. And she, like, her parents went to jail, and then she was a single mother living in the projects. And it was these extreme stories, but it kept coming back to needing to create this sense of home despite not having home. And I was like, so of course you became a mortgage broker.
Yeah. Selling homes.
Of course you're helping people get homes.
Right.
So once you begin to connect the dots, I just spoke at Yale with these students, right? And these young students with like, oh my God, I kept being like, you guys are so young. Oh my God, please acknowledge how young you are. But this, this girl came in and she's like, yeah, she was talking and basically what came through was this sense of, wanting to feel like she was on solid ground and wanting to help others feel like, they were on solid ground. And I kept digging and digging and digging. And then she's like, well, I was born with this muscular, disease where I lack balance. I'm like,
wow.
Of course you did. Like, of course you did. Because what you're here to do is to find solid ground for yourself and then to help others. And so just by working with thousands and thousands and thousands of people at this point, it's like there is no bad or shameful. It's just like, oh, of course, that's the nugget that leads you to what you're here to do on this planet. Duh, of course. So that same work that I do with clients, and now I'm able to kind of like spot it really quick.
It's like laser focused, and it's almost scary to watch you do it because I've experienced it myself. And for those listening, like I've actually watched you do this in like a group setting.
Yes.
It is wild. It's wild. I'm getting something totally different out of it. And you're like, okay, let me tell you what it is. And it's like, boom, it's really remarkable. It's a gift.
Well, what's amazing for me is like once people, and I'll use that mortgage broker as example, like once that woman was like, realized, oh, what I'm here to do on the planet is help people find home, starting with herself, help me find that sense of home, help others. Then there's so much more openness in the world. Like, okay, well, right now I'm doing that as a mortgage broker, but I can also do that other ways, right? And so it just begins once oh, who I am in the world is helping people find home. Who I am in the world is prescribing possibility. Who I am in the world is creating the sense of belonging through the truth, being a truth teller. Like, great, I could do that in all of these different ways. I'm not pigeonholed to this exact thing. So it opened up opportunity for people to be like, oh my gosh, I could do this in this way, which then creates just that sense of freedom and possibility, which is what I'm all about.
Believe me, I am so aware, and I have been the benefactory of all of that. Like, I really have like benefited so much from working with you in the past, and just your friendship going forward. Like, you're one of the most genuinely kind and giving people. Like, you are just a connector, and I'm not doing this to just like heap praise upon you, but I think it's something that we don't acknowledge enough in one another. Like, there are just some people who truly are like, they're a mensch, right? They're like that good soul person in the world who really has just pure intent of bringing about joy with the connections that she can share with others. And you really are a beautiful example of that. And so with that, oh, you're welcome. Oh, look at you took it too. Oh my God, I love that for you. I love that.
I took it.
So I would look at you and say, you are such an awakened individual, Michelle. Now we have to talk about the book. Tell me about Not Awakened, where the title comes from.
Yeah.
All the things. I have to hear it all from the beginning. The title especially, it's a good story.
Great story. Great story. And such a great story that like so often the most shameful, humiliating, broken down parts of your life become the nugget that is like what you're here to do on the planet. Just like yet another example of that. So I'll start with the story. So in 2014, around then, I had left corporate. I had started my first company called I Am Creative. And I was working with Marianne Williamson and the Open Center and Gabby Bernstein, like all of these people. And I was like, I was doing this deep energy work in the middle of New York City. And I was like, oh, I am enlightened. Like it was like, oh, I am this. Like I was like,
I've arrived.
I am this. And the meditation energy work, it was called the Oneness Meditation Diksha. So in 2011, I had quit corporate, and I had started my first company called I Am Creative, and it was devoted, just like Soul Camp, to working specifically with those in the transformational space. So I was working with spiritual teachers and leaders and all of these people. And at the same time, I was doing this deep, deep energy work in New York City called Diksha, also known as the Oneness Blessing, which was basically, getting you to a heightened state. And in that heightened state, you realize, oh, this is just a body, underneath this body is who I really am, which is energy. And the frequency of that energy is love. It was beautiful, amazing, right? But I was walking around being like, wow, I am free from thought. She thought, right, to herself, I am free from thought. And so the Oneness Blessing, this community was having a deepening experience in India. And so I went with my teacher, with my mother, with a group of us. We went to this deepening experience at the Oneness University in Chennai, India. And there was like 15 Americans, but there was like 500 people, right, from around the world, China, everywhere, right? And we all went through this experience for about a month and a half, which was every single day, woke up, went to prayer at 5 a.m. And then, there was a break. And then after that, there was a process, which was every day there was a letting go of what it meant to be a human being. So it was like letting go of beliefs, letting go of fear, letting go of identity, letting go of story. Every single day, it was like a different layer of letting go until you are just the observer. Very intense, very intense. And so like, for instance, like the fear day, they had all of us like write what our biggest fears were like in the world and turn it in. And then when we came back, we were blindfolded and there were like buckets all over the room. And the monks, this was all led by monks. And one of the monks was American. His name is Doug. But the monks were in the microphones in Chinese, in Korean, in all of these different languages, Italian, American, reading out loud the fears, right? While this like crazy music was playing. And so it's like you're in this heightened state as they're like, the plane is going down. Like you were just dying. It was like, that was the type of things that were going on.
Whoa.
Very intense, very intense. So I arrive at the Oneness University and like very quickly, I was like, everyone needs to know that I'm special. Like I was like very soon after arriving, I was like, Doug, like the monk, I made it very clear to him that I ran a creative agency in New York City that worked with the top spiritual leaders in the world. And in case the Oneness University needed some marketing help, I'm here for it. I'm here for it. And he was like, okay. I mean, the Oneness University was also a business, right? It was, people are paying to come. So what then happened was after prayer every day, instead of taking the break, I went into the main office and I talked about hashtags. Hashtags had just come out like on the scene in social media. And so I was teaching hashtags to the monks. And so I am walking around the Oneness University being like, I'm the most awakened being here. Like they would not call in a not awakened person in to teach the monks in the main office. Like,
okay, hold on. How many people in the world can say the sentence, I was teaching hashtags to the monks? I just needed to point that out. Sorry. Please continue.
No, it's true.
Oh my God, I love you so much. Go on.
It's true. And so I was teaching hashtags to monks. So I was just like high on my own supply, truly. I was just like, oh my gosh, like, are they going to offer me a job here? Like, I was just like, wow, like I am the one. Like, here she is. Like, I am the one. And so a month or so passes, and now we're gearing up for graduation. And so what graduation is it was basically like college graduation. So there's huge auditorium, literally hundreds of people. And one by one, country by country, they call out your name, and you go up to the podium and you receive a certificate. So like literally like graduation.
Wow.
And they call out, you know, your, like it was like Sharon Goldblum, awakened, and like everyone cheers. And so one by one, people are being called, all the Americans, awakened, awakened, awakened. And then they call my name, and I stand up and I start walking towards Doug. Michelle Goldblum. This close, not awakened. And
you are
it,
that's
and I was the only American not awakened. There were a few other people in the room that were also not awakened from other countries, but I was the only American. And I had to go up and get my certificate that set a date in the future when I would be awakened. And then the rest of the evening, people from all over the country would like come up and be like, selfie, like 1, 2, 3, awakened. And I was there with my mom. And so like my mom would be like smiling because she was awakened. And then they would look at me like, ooh, like,
sorry,
not you. Yeah. Like, sorry, like only awakened people. It was the most horrible moment of my, like, besides, I've had horrible things, but from a spiritual perspective, it was the most embarrassing, shameful, shocking time of my life because I was so high on my spiritual ego, and I was so like just thought that like all of these things that I were doing, working with these people, and had gotten me to this place, and then suddenly it was bubble popped. Boop.
Yeah.
And
publicly.
And for me, over the years, it always has to be when I hit a bottom, and there have been many, as you'll read in my book, but this was one of them. This is a spiritual one. It has to be so loud. It has to be so loud for me, and like so crazy. So the stories I have in the book are this one just being the first one, but all of the stories are kind of like of that insanity in different areas, right? But yeah, I was deemed not awakened. And that was when I really began more of an actual spiritual journey of like, and I wouldn't even call it a spiritual journey, a journey to like figure out what's even the fucking point of this? Like, am I supposed to be awakened? What does that mean? Why am I? Like, why are we all on this quest to be awakened and enlightened? Like, why? What if we were just human and like didn't have to get better or higher or more mindful or more intentional? Or what if we just were? And it was interesting because I literally had a whole business around this and continued to, right? So this moment, wasn't like, and that was the day that everything changed. Like, no, it was not. It was not. But it was the day that something popped. And, over the next few years, I would say, I as I got more and more, and I am still in this. That's what I think the interesting thing about this book. I am still in personal development. This is a personal development book. Like,
sure.
So I'm kind of like writing from within. It's like breaking the fourth wall in a way of like, what if all that we're doing, including what I'm doing, right? Including right now, doesn't really fucking matter. And like the actual way to feel more free, and the actual way to feel connected to others, and the actual way to feel joyful and at peace is not more worth, more mindfulness, more intention, better, more connected even. What if it was just owning exactly where we were at and connect, and like all of it, and not trying to bypass, or not trying to stuff, or not trying to, fix, but just being with all of it
Mm.
and like welcoming it all in. And ironically, I don't even write this in the book, and I kind of just like remembered this right now, right this moment. One of the funny things that happened in the Oneness University, and like one of the ways that I knew, like now looking back many years later, like, oh wow, I was high on my own supply. We were all in group, all the Americans, right? One of the very first days of being there. And all the Americans were sitting in a circle, and Doug, the monk, who, was originally a graphic designer in DC and then became
a monk,
moved to India. But we were all going around and like asking questions for Doug. And one of the women, was asked, one of the women there, one of the participants asked Doug something to the effect of like, when I have such horrible thoughts, like from an enlightenment perspective, like what said something. And me, Michelle Goldblum, literally, I don't remember the exact words I used, but it was to the effect of, allow me. Like, allow me, Doug. Allow me. And I said, yeah, you didn't know me then, but like, woof. But I said something to the effect of like, well, Thich Nhat Hanh, who's a spiritual teacher, Thich Nhat Hanh says that when you feel these feelings of fear or feel these feelings of disgust or whatever it is, don't try to bypass them. Don't try to stuff them. Don't try to get past them, but instead say, oh, sweetheart, come on in. Oh, come here. I got you. And the sentiment is right. That is like, like, yes, that. And now, 16 years later, I'm not, being like, Thich Nhat Hanh says, but I'm like, holy
you
fucking
live
shit.
it.
That was that. That's right. Right? Like that is it. That's what I believe.
But you are living it now as opposed to reciting it then.
Yes. Yes.
And taking it out of turn. I'm just picturing Doug the monk, who's being paid a lot of money, or the organization is being paid a lot of money to impart all of this wisdom. And there's Michelle with all of the knowledge she has gained, imparting wisdom. And not that there's anything wrong with putting yourself out there, but the irony of the situation and how now it's not even the thought of it. Like, this is just who you are and how you go about the world. It's a beautiful transformation when you think about it.
Yeah. I mean, back in those days, I wanted to feel so connected to God, bliss, universe. I wanted to feel not human because my human experience was hard. I was really overweight. I was struggling with an eating disorder. It was like, so let me just fucking bypass this and be with God. Let me just be in bliss and oneness and love. And now looking back, it's like, oh, that was really for me, another drug I was taking. Right. And so what this book looks at, as my publishers would say, critiques, is the self-help personal development industry as a whole, right? Like, let's get you to feel good, but then you're not going to buy another book if you don't feel like shit again. So there needs to be a then feeling like shit. There needs to be, in order to buy the next one, and then buy the program, and then buy the blank, and then buy the blank, and then and it's a cycle, right? Like, I went from I'm not thin enough, I'm not rich enough, I don't have enough Facebook friends, to I'm not mindful enough, I'm not intentional enough, I'm not manifesting enough, I'm not, same thing, same narrative, different costume. But what if we didn't do that?
Right.
Would we just sit in misery? But like, it was like, what if we owned all of our shit without the shame of feeling it? And so for me, I live it as I practice it. So it's like, I'm like, I'll give an example. Like, someone said something to me. I was at a publishing event. I think you might have even been there. Truly. It was my friend Bex, Rebecca Baruki.
Yep.
Yeah.
I was there.
I was sitting there. I was sitting next to her. And I got a notification from TD Bank. Like, it popped up on my phone. And it was like, you are below the $50 limit. Like said something like your account has gone below the $50 limit. And I was like, oh God, I like showed it to her. I was like, oh God. I said something like, whatever. And she was like, oh, I'm so shocked. I see on social media, I see like your house and your car and like what, you just seem like you're so rich. And I'm like, oh yeah, we like really buy like beyond our means. I was like, we bought this house and like, we probably shouldn't have. And like, I drive an Audi and it's like, I'm doing it to look like laid back, but rich. Like, we're really, and she was like, I'll never forget because there was like I could cry. I'm like emotional about it. Like there was such a softening of her and being like, oh my God, like I feel like there's so much more. She maybe didn't say it in this way, but like feel so much more connected to you. It was like,
to you.
Let's have lunch. It was like, let's get together more. It was like this feeling of me just being so honest without shame. It wasn't like, oh, I'm in debt.
Right.
Don't look at me. It was like, I'm in debt. We love going to Disney World.
Right.
Like, it was like,
yeah,
there's nothing there for me right now, shame wise, believe me, I have it about other things right now for sure, which we can talk about. But like,
yeah,
a lot of the stuff, body, shame, money, which were these huge things in my life, they're gone. They really are gone as I'm able to talk about all of it. Ozempic, it doesn't matter. There's no hiding anymore. And I feel so free. And I feel so much more connected to people. In a way that I didn't before. There's just like human to human. Yeah. And so I don't know where we got on that, but.
Well, it was interesting. You just said something though about how the shame from those particular parts of your life is gone. Yeah. But you did allude to the fact that there's still shame. And I found that really curious. So can you say a little more about that?
Yeah. So for me, once I realized there's shame, I have to go in and like, boop, drill into it. And so this is very new. And so you're the first to hear. But I before we started the podcast, I started talking about it. So me and Eric, my husband, have felt disconnected, and I wasn't aware of why. I wasn't aware of it. I was not aware of it. And very recently, meaning 4 days ago, literally 4 days ago, we got in a huge blowout fight, and and it all finally came up, like this months of like not speaking about it and like walking on eggshells and like feeling like he's angry at me, but like, and then me then being angry at him and like not really it's not about the dishes. Like it's something more was going on. And he says to me, do you think you're an influencer, Michelle? And I was like, what do you mean? And he's like, you live your life like you're this big influencer. The way that you go around, the way that you use our family, this is like, oof, you're the first to hear. Use our family as props in your Instagram. The way that it's like, get together for a picture, here we are. It disgusts me. He's like, listen, if you had hundreds of thousands of followers and this is the way that we were paying our mortgage, okay. But you're not that. And you act like you're this celebrity and you're not. And oof, it's true. Like in so many ways, it's true and like, yes, I'm helping people and yes, all these things, but the way that I use social media is where my shame is right now at today, because I'm like, holy fucking shit. I do that. I do, like, my kids don't want to be in pictures and I force them into it in order to not have a memory, but in order to then post it on social media, like, and to post it to my stories. And it was a pop. It was a not awakened pop. It was a not awakened pop moment, because it was like, oh, I have been doing this. And that is what I do. And that's true. Like, it was not me fighting back. No, I don't. It was just so, yep, I do. And that feeling of I'm faking it till I make it on this, or is
Mm.
it I'm stuffing something down? And so that's where I'm at right this second. Like as of today,
Wow.
August 6th, 9:44 a.m., like very newly not awakened as it relates to how I am on social media. And then it was so
Yeah.
interesting because I saw a friend, literally this happens, and this is how things happen for me in my life. This
Mm-hmm.
happens on what to say, on a Monday night. And then on a Tuesday, I'm in New York City and I see a friend I haven't seen in a while. And we were best friends. We were like very, very close. And then we weren't. And I didn't know. Same with Eric. It was like, I didn't know. And then we separated. And there
Mm.
was never a conversation. There was never a talk around it. And I just was like, all right, maybe this is just like what friendship, like what seasons or whatever. And
Yeah.
I saw her. And again, this was like the day after Eric had said that
Mm.
to me. And I saw her and she was like, when she was like, how's everything? I started crying. And I was like, this is how everything is. Like,
Yeah.
and she goes, I have to tell you, Michelle, I had to take some space from you because that
Mm.
same feeling of everything is awesome, how everything is on social media. She's like, it was too much for me. And
Mm.
it was just like these two things in a row. Again, this all is very new. It's like literally this week. But
Yeah.
when I say not everything is wonderful and perfect, yeah, I have no shame around money. And yeah, I have no shame around my body. But do I have shame around how my family feels about my social media use and how friends feel about my 100%? I've had
Yeah.
that now. And so I know what I have to do. I have to talk about it.
Yeah.
Right?
Well,
Like, which is what we're doing right now. I'm going to write about it. Like,
yeah.
that's the way for me to own it, is beginning by
Yeah.
acknowledging it.
Well, that's, I guess that's the part right there that I think is so interesting, right? First of all, thank you
Yeah.
for sharing that,
Yeah.
because I think that there are a lot of people who can relate to that on a variety of levels, right? But I think the most interesting part to me is how you get to that place where you're willing to reflect on yourself, right? Instead of responding, or not responding, but reacting defensively to Eric, for instance,
Yeah.
right? How you get to that place of being able to be introspective or self-reflective.
Yeah.
How is it like a switch? Is that like your default now that you've done enough work? Like, how does that look for
No,
you? I'm
no,
curious. Yeah.
no, it is not. It has to get so big.
Mm.
So still, for me, it has to get so big. With the eating disorder stuff, I had to be alone in Australia, having gained 100 pounds, not leaving my dorm room, failing out of all of my classes, stealing food. Like it had to get that big for, it had to get so big that me and Eric have gone months of being in this silent hating each other. It's
Mm.
like, and then finally, like this breaking point, it was so big, right? Of crying and but I'm sure over the months, he said things to me like, okay, we don't want to take pictures, Michelle, or like, you're
Right.
always on your phone, Michelle. I'm sure he said that 100 times and I didn't hear him. Or like, I was like,
Mm.
whatever, this is just what we do. I'm promoting a book. Here we are.
Right.
I'm doing, this is what you do. I'm
Yeah.
talking to my, yeah,
There's so much in there. Oh my gosh. But like how right now, that's how the world is. And that doesn't mean it makes it right. It doesn't mean it makes it wrong. But I feel like that's what everybody's doing. Like it's this, you're on your phone, we're on our, tablets, we're scrolling as we're watching TV, it's just this like hyper, I don't know, this hyper visual sort of world where everything is quick and it's in your face, and it's either like you jump on and you go for the ride, or you have to kind of buck it a little bit, and it's really hard to do that when you don't even get your news from a newspaper anymore. You hardly have news channels. Like people go on social media and they get their information from there. Like I don't think that you're alone in the way this is like showing up in your life. It's just, as you said, maybe yours has to get bigger, but I don't even know if that's not accurate for a lot of people. Like, I good for you guys for talking about it. Like for Eric to actually bring it up even, because that had to be hard too.
I mean, Eric is, I married someone who is Eric is not on social media. Eric is not on any of it. And Eric wants me to be more present with my family. And what I get to do now is the beautiful journey of figuring out why I'm so uncomfortable being present in my family. Sorry, I'll say it again. What I get to do now is the beautiful journey of beginning to dig into or look at, why am I uncomfortable just being not on my phone? Like, what is that? Is it just like the dopamine high that I keep getting, like a drip into my veins? Like, is it, I'm just such like, that's where I'm getting my dopamine? Maybe. Is it, I'm so not used to a normal, stable family life that it's uncomfortable for me to have that? Maybe. But it's here now. Like, here it is, loud and clear. And it fucking sucks. Like when he said that, I could cry right now thinking about it. Like, because it's not resolved. It's new.
Yeah, and of course.
So, there will always be new things as I go about my life that I'm not aware of. And then boop, oh shit, here it is. Yeah. And before I'm able to own it, there's shame. So right now, before me even talking to you about it, and then me talking to my friend about it, me talking to you about it, I'm not at a place where I'm like writing about it yet, but like I will. That's my process, right? And so then it's gone. Then that shame of it is gone, and then I can actually, live into it, work on whatever I need to do around it. But but there will always be more things like that. I've just had a lot of things that I've been able to move through that have gotten big. I've had shame around it, and then I've moved through. Yeah.
I think that's a beautiful way of looking at it, Michelle. Like, to that point of like being awakened, like, are we ever really at a point where we're not working in some way on just being a better version of ourselves? And that doesn't necessarily mean doing more.
Yeah.
Right. So often it means like dialing it back and doing less. And it's such a counterintuitive sort of a thing. Right. But like the more I talk with people and coach and read, it's just so fascinating to me how like we just are sold this lie of like having to go. And really like it's about slowing down.
Yeah.
And I mean, my work isn't necessarily shame specific, but I can tell you it took me not being able to stand steady on my own 2 feet to slow down.
Yeah.
Like how many wake up calls could I have received in my lifetime on like, girl, you need to slow down. And what did I do instead? I sped up.
Yes.
I mean, really. So it took my body being like, we're not doing this anymore. So here you can think about it.
Yeah. Yep.
It's tough stuff.
Tough stuff. Yep.
And really wonderful for you to share your tough stuff with people in such a raw and honest way, because as you were speaking, I mean, I have felt the way you have described. Like, so I think one of the most beautiful parts of this evolution that I'm seeing with my dear, sweet Michelle is this, like, honestly, like this coming back down. Maybe the social media thing is that last wall that's up, right? And
totally.
It's so interesting, you know?
Yeah. Because when you meet me, when I'm with people live, there is no gloss, right? It's just, here I am. But there's something, I think I get a sense of, as Tony Robbins would describe it, as a sense of significance with showing not necessarily how beautiful my life is. That's not it. It's more so how much I'm doing. Look at how much I'm doing. Look at all that I do throughout a day. I'm here, and then I'm here, and then I'm here, and then I'm here. And then when I see people in person, they're like, oh my God, you do so much. And I'm like, do I? Like, it's literally like,
oh no.
Yeah. Like, but I know, like, there's a sense of pride, significance around, look at all that I'm holding. And it's almost like, mommy, look at all that I'm holding. But look, I'm holding a business and a book and kids and a marriage, and it's fun, and I'm not holding it. I mean, that's the truth. I'm not holding it well, but what people always say, like, if you're trying to do it all, something's going to suffer. And what's been suffering is Eric and I. And that's true. And so I'm not willing to let that fall. I have a mom, but growing up, I had a mom who really prioritized her work and her mission and her purpose in the world, and was married 4 times. And it was kind of the same thing every time. Like, not with my dad. My dad was like the worst. But like with her other husbands after that, they weren't the priority. And it's like in my lineage, right? Like that, the powerful woman who just doesn't fucking care about the husband. And I want to care. And I want him to feel that I care. And I want to have it all, but if that means 1 or 2 dials down, that's okay.
Yes. Yeah. I love the way you describe that, because I think it goes back to that fallacy of like the work, the life, all the balancing that just can't exist because there's no such thing.
Yeah.
The minute you get to that balance, you're off again. Like it's, it's more of that like Venn diagram I always talk about, like of harmony. You have all these things and you're going to have to shift it around to confront it or to address it. But honestly, though, I really do believe that part of our journey, I think, in being a human is like we have lessons we need to learn. And sometimes, like, the themes are similar, but they show up in different ways until we really get it. Like, I'm still not slowing down. Like, okay, I can't go Irish dancing. I can't go bike riding. Okay, well, what can I do? How many things can I buckle into like this tiny little time frame where I'm awake and not like completely depleted?
Yeah.
I mean, Sean, it's so funny that you say that, because Sean's not on social media either. And the other day we were talking and I'm like, I have to like look at the calendar because I have to budget that out. And he's like, and he's a finance guy. He's like, you don't do budgeting. Like, what are you talking about? And I'm like, well, I only have so much energy. Like, I have to be able to, and this is true. I'm talking about like my cognitive, like ability to do things, right? I have to save it. Yeah. So I can't do all the things. Like, some people can record 5 episodes of a podcast in a day.
Yeah. Oof.
I cannot.
Yeah.
I will have one beautiful conversation, maybe a week, because it takes a lot out of me.
Yeah.
In good ways.
Yeah.
But the energy part is real, So I think it's really the hard work of being a human. That's what I'm hearing about not awakened.
The hard, beautiful, messy, worth it work of being a human.
Yeah. And it's all worth it.
It's all worth it. And if you really are willing to not bypass it, and like you're really willing to just be in it and like honest about it, first and foremost with yourself, life is just so much easier. It's just like a much easier life.
Totally. It's like, you get a scratch on your finger, you need a Band-Aid.
Yeah.
Like your little boy.
Oh, right. I was like, yeah.
Yeah. I'm like little Jordy, you need a Band-Aid, right? Is it bleeding? No. But does it still like hurt? Yeah. And a Band-Aid makes it feel better. What's the harm in that?
Totally. Yeah.
You know, it's such a,
Yeah.
yeah. I could just cry thinking about the ways in which this book is going to shift the way people feel, not just about shame or about kind of what they want to accomplish in their life, but it's going to really, I think, change the way they look at themselves and the deepening of connections just from the bits that I've been able to read ahead and just knowing you and some of your story. Yeah, the world is really in for a treat, and it may
Aw.
not be pretty. It may have some really dark stuff, but you're funny. And so it's going to be laden with laughter.
I hope so. Your lips to God's ears, because I think that my prayer is that people read this and feel not so fucked up. And people read this and feel little the closure on their purse clasp around their shame loosens, and that they can chuckle, and then that they can, this first and foremost at me, but then at theirs, right?
Yeah.
Like the whole thing here, the whole premise is, let me go first. Let me show you what it could look like to laugh at this.
Yeah.
And then maybe you can laugh at yours.
Yeah.
And then maybe we can talk about it. Yeah.
Love.
I wanted to feel like we're all just in a circle together, sharing our shit and laughing about it.
If that isn't you in a nutshell, Michelle, sitting around a table, having a dinner, gathering people in your inner circle meetings. I mean, the things that you do to bring people together it's really remarkable work. And I think that this book is going to allow you to bring so many other people into those conversations. Like I'm so excited to see what it does. It's going to change people. And I'm really excited for you and for everybody who gets the chance to read it. And when is it coming out again, my darling?
So it is officially out February 23rd, but hint, hint, hint. If for your audience only, it is available on Amazon right now for pre-order. I haven't even announced it yet. I know. So I haven't announced it.
Oh my God.
Public information, but if you're listening to this podcast, you can go on Amazon, you can pre-order it. It's there. Just Google, or search for Not Awakened and it will pop up. But we're still early days. I'm going to record the audiobook, which is going to be a trip. I know. And then we're going to do a whole launch around it. But for now, if you're resonating with this at all, go grab the book. It's gonna be good. It's going to be
a special treat in the winter when it arrives at your door.
Yes.
What a good birthday gift to me. Hello.
Yes.
I'm going right now.
Yay! Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you for taking the time, for sharing all of your stories and your wisdom. And I just continue to wish you all the best in the world with everything you do, because you deserve it.
Thank you, honey. I love you.
Love you too. You have a wonderful day.
Thank you. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Thanks for sharing your time with me here on Prescribing Possibility. I hope today's conversation offered you a breath of fresh air, a new perspective, or even just a moment of calm in the chaos of life. If this episode resonated with you, pass it along to a friend or a colleague. You never know who might need a little more harmony in their life today. I'd love to hear your thoughts, your questions, or topics you're curious about. Reach out to me anytime on Instagram or LinkedIn @dimtnawhile, or send me an email at podcast@dimtnawhile.com. Until next time, give yourself the grace to grow, the space to rest, and the courage to imagine what's next.